Hi there, I'm Charlie, and I'm joined again today by Vincent Mejan, Innovation Lead and Chief Technology Officer for Spinpanel. Today, Vincent is going to tell us a bit more about how Spinpanel is helping transform the modern workspace. Obviously, there's a lot of transformation going on in terms of companies enabling their employees to work smarter in the workplace. Could you tell us what's going on from a software perspective?
Yeah, what we're currently seeing is that what we call consumerization of the workspace is happening. So people are used to in their personal lives to have the data and the apps always available and everywhere available. And of course, that's not so common still in the enterprise workspace. A lot of companies are still choosing the RDS, so the remote desktop or VDI scenario approach, because that's easy to manage, easy to administer, but it comes at the expense of the user experience.
So what's changing then?
So we're seeing a shift from remote desktop and VDI-like implementation scenarios to a much more modern and better way of managing your devices. And of course, Microsoft is really at the forefront of that with their Microsoft 365 offering.
Okay, so what role does Spinpanel play in this workplace transformation?
So what we see is that the Microsoft 365 offering, especially what was previously called Intune, now Endpoint Manager, is of course a very effective tool to manage your devices in the enterprise scenario. But what we also see is that it's sometimes a complex scenario to set up, especially if you work at scale. One of the advantages Spinpanel adds to the table is that we offer multi-tenant management of your Endpoint Manager solutions. So that means that we can effectively template the whole deployment and management of your customers and making sure that you have a consistent rollout over all your tenants or your customers all the time.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, you're using the automation and management capabilities of Spinpanel to help partners quickly deploy and manage, for example, Microsoft 365 to an end customer's environment.
Exactly. So it's not a replacement product that actually integrates into the Microsoft 365 platform. But as I said, as a partner, you can set up your template, which applies to one or multiple customers. Of course, you can derive different variations on top of that. But the important thing is that it's consistent and that it's easily to deploy to multiple customers at once. So that's a clear difference between the normal setup in which you need to go into each customer's tenant to set up all the products and all the policies and everything that needs to be done. Now you can work from a defined set of your company policy, so to say. And that makes it very efficient for a partner to deploy modern workspaces with Microsoft 365. To give you an example, I'm now logged into the Spinpanel platform and more specifically Spinpanel Workspace. So the first thing you will notice is that we have a Power BI report that gives you insights in all the device and user and policy settings that are being deployed over all tenants. So that's already a clear example of the difference between our product and other MDM solutions like Endpoint Manager. So we offer this in a multi-tenant fashion. And we do that for all the applications we have available in the Workspace product. So on the middle section, you will see a lot of solutions that are being provided out of the box. So we offer you PowerShell templates, we offer you the option to set group policy, Windows Update templates, security settings, and of course also some other functional things like drive mapping, which allows you to do drive mapping to SharePoint or OneDrive even, start menu templates. We do of course offer you profile management, so all the things are coming in addition on top of the Endpoint Manager product. Just to show you how this works from a multi-tenant perspective, I'm going to dive into client apps. All our applications work the same, but just for the purpose of explaining, I will move into client apps to let you see how that works from a multi-tenant perspective. So normally, if you do something with a client app, then you upload that on a per tenant basis. In Spinpanel, you only have to do that once. So as an example, I uploaded 7-zip into the application, and now I'm going to show you how you can massively assign that to multiple organizations. So switch to 7-zip in this example, and all the organizations that are available from an Endpoint Manager perspective will be available on the organization assignment. So here I have my application with the binaries, and of course you can do all the things that Intune also supports, so Endpoint Manager supports like command line arguments, but now you can move to organization assignment and then assign this application at once to multiple organizations. So to do that, I just select the application I set up, and all the organizations are visible in a list. As soon as I select an organization, I still have the option to override things like command line parameters, blob storage, and so on. So I still have a control over what the application should do on a tenant level, but the beauty of this is that if you do an update on the application, that update will be pushed down to all the Endpoint Manager tenants as well. So this allows you to do actual version management on top of your applications and just do it once instead of multiple times for different tenants. So this is a clear example of the multi-tenancy capability. You deploy the application once, you update and manage it once, and it's being pushed down to multiple tenants. And again, this applies to all templates we have. So if you do this with group policy, you can think of creating your own group policy starter templates and work from there to push them to different tenants. That's what Spinpanel Workspace does additionally on top of the Endpoint Manager product. To finish up, it's important to note that this is all orchestrating Intune or Endpoint Manager as it's called nowadays. So this is not a replacement. This fully integrates into your Microsoft 365 license and platform to help you just easily and more quickly deploy your solutions to market.
Okay, so when it comes to other solutions, how does Workspace interact or compare to Microsoft Intune, now known as Microsoft Endpoint Manager, which is included in Microsoft 365?
So it's actually the same as with the Spinpanel platform we talked about earlier. We coexist and enable and add to the Microsoft platform. So the same applies to Workspace. So we are fully using all the benefits that Endpoint Manager offers, but adding additional solutions to that. So one of the things is that Microsoft Endpoint Manager is a very rich and scalable platform, but it can also be very challenging to set up. So I said that earlier, you can template the full solution. And a good example is if you just want to update an application and you have 100 Endpoint Manager tenants to manage, you would need to do that 100 times. And with Spinpanel, we bring that back to a one-step solution. So you manage your solution from a partner perspective, manage all the updates, manage all the policies around that, and then push that out to all the end customers' tenants. So that is a first step in making it more efficient. But there are also things that Microsoft Endpoint Manager does not offer. So for example, we make it possible, including our Azure solutions, to mix and match scenarios in which you can do a hybrid setup so that you, for example, can add VDI to the solution, or bring in your own server-based solutions, which can be both run in Azure or on your on-premise environment. So that enriches the whole platform beyond just a modern workspace and makes it a more comprehensive offering you can make available for your end customers. So it's clearly an addition on top of. And the most important thing is if you use the solution, it's not fixed to a certain set of features. So you can still build your own IP, and that's what we're targeting at. So every workspace that a partner has in our proposition is unique for them, and that makes it a very value added point in just selling the license. Again, as we said in the previous video, just selling the license is not enough. You need to move to a comprehensive solution you can have available for your customers. So this is just another step in getting there.
In a few words, what's the experience of the end customers' users, the employees of the organizations you are enabling?
Yeah, that's the beauty, and it's actually very simple because a lot of partners ask me, how does the solution look like? And then I tell them, well, it's just a working Windows 10 desktop with all the apps, all the data, everything in place as the user needs it. And that sounds trivial, and that seems like a normal thing to do. But I often see the scenario that customers are still struggling with how to access systems and how to access data. We take that all away and actually make sure that the desktop is truly yours, personal, productive, and that you can work with that out of the box. So from an end customer perspective, it's actually just a perfectly modern workspace. And for the partner's perspective, it's easily manageable, it's consistent, and you can deploy it at scale, so very rapidly and very easily without a lot of technical knowledge. So that's actually what the product does.
Okay, Vincent, thank you very much for your time, and thank you guys for joining us again today. and stay tuned for more episodes in which we will deep dive into more aspects of the Spinpanel platform.